Hello, it's Natalia, coming to talk about something that has really been bothering me, and I'm gonna just fucking let it all out, okay? I started swearing right off the top, so... There's this thing that I deal with, and it's called cultural pressure, and I don't like it. And I've had it up to here. Alright, so this is the thing. I'm multicultural. Both of my parents contrast in culture. You want to see my parents? Yeah. It's mom, it's dad. Dad's side of the world resides pretty much, in Europe. Fair. Caucasian, English, Scottish, all that good stuff. My mom, she is Native American, Navajo, Lakota, Sioux, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Apache. My mom's roots also come from Ethiopia and Egypt. My mom is also French. My mom is also Welsh. She had freckles on her face. I got freckles on my face. So, this is the thing. I've never been able to choose one. How could I? I'm all of them. If one were missing, I wouldn't be here, or I'd be a completely different entity of a being. I'd look completely different. I'd sound completely different. If you take one of that DNA structure out, something else is gonna be different about me. So this is the thing. I deal with cultural pressure. I deal with cultural pressure in a sense of choose one or the other. Be this, be that. You look like this, so we expect this of you. And I don't like it. I'm fucking tired of it, okay? When I grew up in Chicago, there's so many cultures. Just absolutely beautiful. I was definitely acknowledged as mixed, multicultural. Some people would say, hey, are you mixed? And I would joke. I'd be like, ooh, I'm stirred, And they'd be like, oh, hey! And I'd be like, ha ha, because mixed was the term that we used back then, and I was just playing around. Multicultural is a little bit more formal, and it really presents the definition a lot more precisely, I'd say, because it's true. And in Chicago, there were so many cultures that we all just kind of had a feeling from living around each other how to respect each other, how to approach each other. If you live around it so much and you're so embedded in it, it just becomes a part of your life. And yeah, there was racism in Chicago, and at the same time, there was also this understanding of other people, their cultures, and how to respect them and what to say or what not to say. It just came with the terrain of living around a lot of different cultures. So, I notice I get to Hawaii, and it's a little different here. And not necessarily the Hawaiians, no. I mean, it happens occasionally, but it's very, very innocent. I'm talking about the people that come to Hawaii, who come from other parts of the world and migrate here. And prior to migrating here, they really weren't living around a lot of cultures, and what they got was off of television or media or, movies. And so there's more of a stereotypical outlook. And I've experienced that. And thank God it happens in a really innocent way, And so, I gotta say, people who have never really grown up around other cultures, they see me, being honest here, my African features do stand out. I have very African hair, and, I can tan. I have some features. But, growing up in Chicago, I gotta say, it really stood out that I'm mixed, multicultural. Coming out here, I'm seen as black because, some features stand out, And if you don't know much about other cultures, it's easy to just dip into a stereotype. And then not just dip into a stereotype and say, oh, you're black, but then to just start getting into the stereotypes and thinking that that's what I really am, and I'm not. I'm not. Another form of cultural pressure I get, I'm going to be honest here, is from the African American community. Not in all cases. Don't get all upset and angry just because I said that. Not in all cases, but in some cases, there's pressure from the African American community to want me to conform and just say I'm only black when I'm not. Just because some of my features stand out doesn't mean that that's all that I am. You know what I mean? And, you know, I would like to just express to people, if you don't know someone's culture, ask. Don't assume. Because you never know how a person was raised. And you never know how they grew up. And you never know what the triggers are. And some people say that they know it all just from television or I have a black friend, but you don't. Everybody's an individual. Some people do like to just categorize themselves in a certain group, and some people do like to act their stereotype, consciously or unconsciously. And then there are individuals like me who have a very different outlook just because this is the way that I feel, all right? And you can't change that, you know? So I've had pressure from the African American community to conform and just call myself black, and I won't. But this is the thing. I don't deny my roots. I say that I'm everything. I'm African American, you know? I'm Welsh. I'm Native American. All of that is so true about me. You know, I have a lot of Caucasian, you know, DNA features. I got blue eyes. You know, I got freckles and all that kind of stuff. And that's who I am, and I don't like the pressure. So I'm me. And I gotta say, just because a person looks a certain way doesn't mean that that's all that they are. And I'm not saying it's bad. But everybody just feels different where they stand with themselves culturally. You know?
And that's basically it. I just want to say that they're mixed, they're not black. If you have one parent of one, another parent of another, that's like half and half. That is completely different than some great-great-grandfather. So cut this shit out. Yeah, just use what you have and mix people. You're not black. You're not white. You're your own race. You're mixed. Enjoy it. You know, you got the best of both worlds. What you have and mix people. You're not black. You're not white. You're your own race. You're mixed. Enjoy it. You know, you got the best of both worlds, man. My kids are going to be mixed. I'm pretty sure they're going to be mixed. I'm about 95% sure they'll be mixed kids.
I gotta say, I've had many experiences, even now, where I'm honored as mixed. I'm honored as multicultural from African American community as well as the whole globe. This video is about me dealing with like just the specific experiences where people try to stereotype me, or people try to make assumptions, or people try to put pressure on me. And I just say no. You know, when I grew up as a kid and I saw the differences between my mom and dad culturally, I would look at my mom, I looked at my dad, and then I went into the mirror and looked at myself. And I did that a few rounds. And then I went up to my mom and I said, well, Mom, you're you, Dad's dad, you two are totally different cultures. Well, what am I? She said, you're Natalie. Back then I went by Natalie. Don't call me Natalie, I'm Natalia. She said, you're Natalie. Back then. And my mom did that. I was about 4 years old and she did that. So she was teaching me to not let other people tell me what I am, you know? And so I've heard people in the African American community say like, oh, people are going to think you're black no matter what, so you're just going to have to deal with it or put up with it. And I say, no, not everybody thinks like that. Not everybody thinks in a pigeonholed way, you know? And you know, it wouldn't be fair for me to just say that I'm only one culture when I'm many, you know, because there is this stigma also in the African American community where it's like, oh, you're denying your roots? How dare you not say that you're black? But it's like I say, guess what? I do have my African roots, and I have my Welsh roots, and I have my Native American and French roots, okay? And I got my English roots, all right? So deal with it, accept it, you know? There's also, and maybe you've experienced this, there are multicultural people who will say that they're just black, or will just claim one culture. Halle Berry is a good example. She's a person who just says, I'm not into my white culture. I'm just going to stick to the black side. You know, and she's got every right to do that, as do I have every right to express myself in the way that I feel. You know, so I just wanted to clarify that. And yeah, I'm just speaking up so there's more clarity on this experience, because the lines have gotten a little bit blurred. And yeah, I'm just speaking up for the sake of clarity and to rant a bit about this cultural pressure that I don't put up with. And so this is the thing. When it comes to people approaching me and expecting me to be a certain way, it's just up to me to say, hey, that's not me. What you see. What I am is me. You know, and if you want to get to know me, get to know me. Don't just presume or project your fantasy. Okay? Or your illusionary. So that's what I have to say about this. Thank you for listening, my loves.